Sí. Hola, buenos días.
Good morning. I am Paula Ceballos. I am political analyst here in the representation of the European Commission in Spain. I wanted to welcome you and say thank you for coming to this session that we are hosting in our installations of the representations to introduce this final program of Life Excellence. It's a very nice project. It's great, combining very important things for us, for the European Commission. Sustainability of economy, it's at the heart of our society. It's one of the areas that we are acting at a European level. It defines many of the actions and proposals that we are conducting. And one of the key elements among what we call this Green Deal, it's all of these initiatives to be able to achieve the sustainability of Europe and a neutral Europe. One of the main elements is the development of the circular economy, from which I think this project is a good example. Circular economy, it's to basically change our mindset rather than just use and throw it away and have this in a dumpster without a second life. It's change the mindset and use the 3 R's, the reuse, reduce, and recycle. Nearly 4 years ago, we adopted our action plan of circular economy. It's an action plan with different initiatives along the life cycle of the products, the consumption goods and purchases. And we want to guarantee to avoid the debris, to try to keep everything in our economy and that we take as less as possible from nature. So I think this project fits very well into these European initiatives. From the European Commission, we believe that this circularity is not only good for nature and the environment, but it is a very nice way to be able to enhance the innovation of our companies, which is full of opportunities for the industry. On the one side, we avoid generating more waste with a second life instead of having all of this in the dumpster. And on the other side, we don't extract raw materials from nature. And lastly, but not less important, the management of waste can be an economical resource for the companies. In this case, the egg producing companies. So the project, it's also a magnificent example of the LIFE program. How can there be programs good for the industry and for the environment? The program LIFE, it's the financing tool of the European Union for the environment and climate action, contributing to the goals of the Green Deal that I mentioned before. Since the year 1992 has co-financed more than 5,000 projects in the European Commission, nearly 1,000 in Spain. It has contributed in Spain, in the European Union, with more than 850 million euros. And congratulations for this project. I think it's beautiful, it's interesting, and I hope that you enjoy the day and it's very fruitful and that we can find more opportunities. Thank you so much.
Pues nada, Paula, muchas gracias por...
Paula, thank you for the introduction. I am Juan Vicente Bono. I am president of the Association of Research of Industry, Ceramic Industries from Castellón. We are a technological industry. We have a great relation with the ceramics industry. We were born more than 50 years ago. We were first in Valencia and then in the north. So we come from a very powerful sector, a very internationalized sector. We have nearly 130 researchers, 70% are doctorates, professors, PhDs. So we are able to cluster every kind of technology for our industrial sector that you will see in my presentation. It's based on 3 elements. We have the producers of ceramics, enamels, and also machinery. We also always participate in the circular economy. In our industry, basically, we use everything we produce. There's no waste. We seize and use absolutely everything. And it was a pleasure for us to collaborate in this project, seeking for alliances in other projects and other sectors, so to be able to use wastes that sometimes are difficult to see where they're going to go, but it is a clear material that we can integrate in different processes that can absorb everything that we can in Spain. And I want to also share my thankfulness from the Institute, because for us it's very important to have also the machinery, and we have Mainzer here that's working with us, that has developed a technology to be able to separate the shell from the membrane, to reuse all of this waste. So thanks to them, this is a reality, and I want to congratulate all of you for this project that it's about to end. And Doctora Quereda is going to give you more details.
Bueno, pues buenos días.
Good morning. I am Dr. Francisca Quereda, main coordinator of the project, and I'm very excited to be here with you today to have the perfect ending to this project that has made us so happy, and with no bad things, or at least we don't remember any bad thing. And I want to thank Paula and the representatives of the European Commission for having us here in this building, to the LIFE project for financing this project and betting on it and contributing to spreading the information that we share, and to all of the colleagues and partners of this project. It's been a teamwork, an amazing work, very well coordinated. Well, I shouldn't say that, but between all of us, we've worked very, very nicely in teams, and that's why this is a reality. I will share it later. There you have carbonate made tile, and that we have produced with this project. And I want to thank all of the partners, because just one company would not be able to do this. And lastly, to all of the entities from the Assessing Council and the others that have participated, public authorities that have helped us to take this project to a good end with a very good result. Well, we're on time. That is great. So, once again, thank you for being here. The ones that are in person and the ones that are online. We will have some Q&A sessions to answer any doubts, any question you may have. And well, without further ado, let's get going. And thank you again.
Pues damos paso a la ponencia que nos va.
Okay, so we're going to get started with María del Mar Fernández, the speech director of Innovo, the Spanish Association of Egg Producers, about the egg producing sector in Spain, which is this sector that may need to deploy the solution that we have developed in the Life Excellence project.
Hola, sí. Muy buenos días a todos y muchas gracias por la invitación.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for the invitation and also congratulations to all the participants. It's a pleasure being here with you today and being able to see first person the results of this collaboration between industries of different kinds to do a circular economy that it's useful for all as users and as producers or involuntarily producers of this subproduct that we have to give it a use, and it's not only something that we have to throw away or send to the dumpster. So as Paqui said, I am Maria del Mar Fernandez, director of Innovo, the Association of Spanish Industries of Egg Producing Industries, and we have a web page if someone wants to know more about us. As a sector in Spain, it is clear that in Spain and in the rest of Europe, it's a sector that it's developing, and one of the limitations for our industry has to do with the waste, with everything that it's managed and generated. It has a cost, and there's not always margins to treat or to manage this byproducts the way it should without any added cost. So in the egg sector, as consumers, we receive the egg in two ways.
No, el del medio es para pasar. No, lo tengo aquí, pero que no sé si funciona en la pantalla. Es que creo que los punteros no funcionan en las pantallas, perdón. Bueno, pues simplemente... bueno, el camino...
Okay, so the first way, the one that takes the egg from the farm to the consumer, and it can be done by two different ways. One, the egg and then they prepare the selection of eggs to take it to the selling area, selling points, or the egg products that come from the farm or from the packaging center to the industry of egg products, and there they are transformed, usually by heat, to hygienize them and to make them a more homogeneous product rather than the fresh egg. And usually they go to restaurants, to markets, and sometimes directly to our home. But the main one, the main channel, it's the food industry and hotel industry. So in this sector, there's three stages. The farms that are like around 1,600 in Spain, where we have the laying hens. There's more than 900 industries of packaging and preparation of the egg, and we have 35 industries of egg products. It's a relatively tiny sector, but it's growing. So which is the structure of this sector in Spain? Mainly we have SMEs, which are Spanish companies. There are already three of them, which belong to big chains or big companies that are from other countries, from Portugal, the Netherlands, and Italy. Usually it's something very typical from our country, but also neighboring countries. This sector is directly connected and related to the production of eggs. Usually a farm can have next to it a feed industry for the food for hens, or close by the classification industry, and also this egg producing industry. It's valuing this egg because sometimes does not go to the fresh egg because maybe it can be interesting from a demand side, market regulation, to transform it into an egg product. And the farms and the industries are distributed along Spain. So which will be the dimension of egg product in Spain. There's not an official number about the volume of eggs that we transform, and it's calculated around 20% of the egg production, taking in account that we have around 850,000 tons that we produce per year. We would transform around 200,000 per year. This is not a very big number because Spain is not one of the countries in which we have the highest number of transformed eggs compared to others that reach the 35 or 40%. But it is true that we have a dynamic market which is growing, and most of the egg product in Spain is transformed to liquid egg, pasteurized liquid egg, the whole egg or only the yolk or only the whites. And there's other industry that creates another egg product. Let's say that the pasteurized product, it's the one that it's the most similar to the original one, and it's more welcomed for other sectors, like for example the food industry, because they have the same properties and the same uses to elaborate products than the one compares to the fresh egg. Other egg products would be the powder egg, dry egg, boiled egg, which is a tiny part of the transformation of the sector. But we also have the already prepared dishes, like for example tortillas or omelets or other dishes that will be already prepared. Like for example the peeled boiled egg, which is a transformed food ready to consume. The main channels, it's the food industry and also the catering industry. And for some years ago, we've already been seeing the egg whites, pasteurized, and also in gyms. Places where there's a demand of proteins with no fat in a food that has certain nutritional levels and does not have any calorie.
Nuestro sector es un sector claramente exportador.
We are an exporting sector. Around 20% of the production goes to other products, mainly from the European Union, and in the case of egg product, we have an exporting market, but in many cases, due to our companies, as we said, that maybe the headquarters are in Portugal, Netherlands, or Italy, they have a lot of volume of egg which is exchanged with these countries. We have a very important number, but the more recent numbers from the year 2023, there was a 43% of the exported products in the shape of an egg product, and this is around 43,000 tons. This means that there's an interesting market, especially addressed to the community market, because if we look at the extra community market, we are just a very tiny proportion. But this has to do with the format too. When you do this pasteurized egg product, the life cycle is shorter compared that if you do this in powder. For example, in powder, the life cycle could be of 2 years. The volume of water is less, so it's easier to export. But if you have a pasteurized egg product in which the most of the parts that you are moving is water, you need refrigeration, and it's more difficult to preserve, we are making this due date to be sooner. So basically it has to do with the way that we produce the food that we produce, that the external market, it's a proximity market.
Y nos consideramos un sector curiosamente innovador.
We are an innovative sector. We don't have a pretty big industry, but if we take a look at other countries, there's no big developments in the sector of egg products. We do liquid egg, powder egg, boiled egg, and that's it. But in Spain, we've done pretty curious things. As we're Spanish, we always need to have our potato tortilla. I don't know if you remember many years ago when we had this already prepared tortilla. We always wonder who is going to buy it in a supermarket. I mean, it's great when you do it at home, but I think that after some years we can say that this tortilla de patata, it's a champion. It's in every single market, and it's very, very weird that, for example, nobody thinks about it when they don't want to cook. It's very easy to buy this instead of just cooking, frying, peeling potatoes. So basically here we've been very innovative, and something that looked just like a weird invention came to stay. This is another invention, for example, a fried egg, frozen. But it had its public because it entered through the channel of fast food, and there's people that needed to have this egg product with all of these health certifications that could not get frying their egg. For example, fried egg in the catering industry was forbidden. You could not serve an egg that was not cooked over 75 degrees. That meant that the yolk was totally solid, so you could not spread it over bread. So to have the patent to do a fried egg that you can fry it, and when you just cook it, I don't know if when you try to freeze a yolk and then you cook the yolk, it's like some of gummy thing. This does not stay like that. So this is a whole merit. This was sold through the channel of fast food, especially for hamburger restaurants, and it's been very successful. This looked a very silly thing, a frozen fried egg, but it has its place, and it's been also for sale in some supermarkets. So as I said, every product has its product. It's public. Another stupid thing, to put the egg a scent that should not have, because when we have the egg in our freezer, for example, we always say far from strong smells, because the pores from the shell are able to absorb the smell and the scent from the outside. So basically, using this, that could be a problem. Someone said, okay, but if I put something delicious next to the egg, then it's going to be great. For example, if I put a truffle or ham, blue cheese, or maybe garlic. So this has been a Spanish invention to put some scents and aromas to egg. And these scented eggs were in the market for so many years that we were able to achieve that this in the last revision of the commerce law, we had the eggs. Because we didn't know if they were eggs or just egg products. We had to ask this because in order to do the registration to do this, we need to know what was this. One said it was an egg product, another said that it was a fresh egg. So basically we asked the question to Europe, and the conclusion is that it is a fresh egg. So it has all of the marketing rules and laws of a fresh egg and must have the due date of a fresh egg. But we have to specify that it is a scented egg. Because a few months ago, a weird scented egg was not sold in category A, should have been taken in account as an egg product. So basically we have like reshaped the consideration of the categories of the egg. So basically, doing things ahead of the norm, we're able to have the norm adapted to us. So we have scented eggs incorporated in a norm as fresh eggs.
Hemos hecho especiales.
More special things. Low temperature eggs. Another of the prepared dishes. This was forbidden also in the catering industry. This low temperature egg could not be used in catering industry because the egg had not been under 75 degrees Celsius. So half of the catering industry could not use it. So if you went to a hotel in the morning and you basically start reviewing and doing some auditings, eggs were everywhere, dry. So basically this low temperature egg, there was a company that with this low temperature were able to warranty all of the necessary health conditions to withdraw any kind of risk of the growth of salmonella. So see how tasty it looks, and this, for someone that works in a restaurant, is easier to buy rather than just having someone all the time boiling eggs and see if it works or not. So it is another made in Spain egg product which is working and it's in the market. This is another Spanish thing. There was a development at the CSIC of the protein of the hydrolyzed egg white, and we were able to have this protein to get out the peptides with bioactive and technological properties to have similar uses to the dairy products. For example, if you were allergic to milk or to lactose, they could have something similar to a shake, to a yogurt, or to ice creams or creams from this egg white. This is also being sold as an interesting drink because it does not have any fat, sugar, nothing that usually people don't want to consume, and it has the protein and the nutritional quality. So these are some kind of yogurt creams. Another innovative egg product, low calorie egg and low cholesterol egg. So it's basically working as the whole egg, but they've been able to withdraw the 70% of the fat and cholesterol of the egg that usually it's one of the cons that people argue against the egg. So the egg white does not taste the same if you try to take away all of this, but they've been able to keep the same taste, but with less calories and less cholesterol. So what do we do with the byproducts? We have the egg shells, we have the wastes of the whites, the shells are around 10%, so we do a calculation from all of the eggs that we use per year. It's a lot of them. We have the technical shell, the technical white, and the products that do not comply with the regulations. We have so many of them. Sometimes they go to the dumpsters. They sometimes are used as a resource of calcium, so for acid construction, and we also see there's new uses to reuse the membrane and the shell, for example. Products that we've gotten in Spain, like for example some medicines from the products of the shell. This can also be used, for example, for sports people to age better, for cosmetics, for pets, and several lines have been followed by other producers that have used the same development. And even here we use the calcium. Another uses, for example, to give it to pets, the eggshell, it's a source of organic calcium, but from other proteins and other elements in the membrane. And now we are going to be told which other uses we give to this tons and subproducts that we produce, and that not all of them can be dedicated to these special and attractive developments that of course do not absorb all of the tons that we produce in Spain from shells. So we will be delighted to listen to the results of EGGSHELLENCE to give us more tips and hints on how can we use those products in our industry. Thank you so much.
Muchísimas gracias, María del Mar.
Thank you very much, Maria del Mar, just for sticking to the time. It was a very dynamic presentation, very interesting one also, and it has opened our minds and about the egg producers, their producing sector. We move to the next one, which is online. We have Filippo Zerulli, representative of the European Association of Egg Processors from the EPA. Is he online? He will explain. Hello, Filippo. He will explain the egg producing sector in Europe.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry if I'm speaking English instead of Spanish. I will give a short presentation about the European egg sector, starting from the associations. So myself, I'm with our company is member of EPA. EPA is the organization representing the European egg processors. EPA is part of EWEP, and EWEP, which is representing every European egg producer, is based on the umbrella organization for two different associations. One is the one representing egg packers, traders, and egg processors. Now moving to the figures. In Europe, we have quite an important production of eggs, which is based on nearly 390 million hens. Those hens are producing approximately 7 million tons, so 6 million.
Filippo, sorry, the presentation
Yes.
is not shown.
Okay. Do you have the presentation, or should I?
Okay, now, thank you.
Okay. So
Now
you see the
we can
presentation?
see the presentation.
You can't, or you can?
We can.
Okay, excellent. Okay. So, as I was explaining, in Europe we have 390 million, nearly 390 million hens, which are producing approximately 6,900,000 tons eggs per year. The usage of those eggs is, in average, 2/3 for consumption eggs, so the ones we buy in supermarkets, and 1/3 of the production is utilized for breaking. We used to have, let's say, in Europe, a self-sufficiency rate of 103-104%. But this self-sufficiency rate was falling down to 101% in the last 3 years because of the economic crisis and because of the avian influenza. Beside this, we have imports and exports of eggs. So we are importing approximately 77,000 tons shell egg equivalent, and exporting 260,000 tons, always eggshell equivalent. We are net exporters. Europe is traditionally a net exporter of eggs on the international market for approximately 190,000 tons. So in the European Union, we are producing 6.5 million tons of eggs. And those eggs are produced by more than 1 million farms. So we have officially 1,181,000 farms. The employment counts 180,000 persons, of which 100,000 indirect through suppliers, and 78,000 persons directly employed by the farms. The value produced is quite important, because we are producing 7 billion and 600 million euro at farm prices, and at retail prices we are over 20 billion euro. Moving to the market and to the systems, we have the cage-free, which is growing in Europe. Now cage systems represent less than 50%. We are at exactly at below 40%, slightly below 40%. When we have an important share of barn eggs, which is 37%, organic represent 7%, and free range 15%. This trend was slowing down in the last 2-3 years, for the same reason why we were losing production, and this is basically because of the economic recession, which is a little bit refraining consumers and from spending too much money on food. What are the main challenges that the European egg sector is facing at the moment? Allora, first of all, the cage-free discussion, including the fact that we have less consumption due to economic reasons, oriented to free range and organic. In the northern part of Europe, we have practically no cage production left, while in the southern part of Europe, the transition between cage to cage-free is progressing much slower, at a slower pace. In Eastern Europe, the Eastern Europe countries are more price-oriented, and so we still find quite an important share of cage production. In terms of animal health, the main challenge is represented by avian influenza, which is a really strong threat. The avian influenza, that in the past was mainly related to migration of wild birds, now has become endemic in Europe. And this means that we have avian influenza virus present and active almost in each season of the year. We had in the last 4 or 5 years a very large quantity of birds which have been cooled or died because of avian influenza, and there is an important discussion about vaccination, which is now active only in France on ducks. In the rest of Europe, we still have discussions, but nothing in place at the moment. Another quite important discussion is related to the male chicks, and the idea to stop the cooling of one-day male chicks, utilizing in novo sexing techniques or other possibilities. Moving to the moving forward, we can maybe describe what we do with the eggs. So as we said, 2/3 of the eggs are utilized for fresh consumption, while 1/3 is utilized in egg bakeries to produce egg products. In Europe, we have almost 70 egg processors, so 70 companies which are processing eggs, producing mainly products for human consumption. The processing is concerning 2.5 million tons of eggs per year. Imports are coming from out of Europe, and imports can include both eggs and eggs products, which are eventually further processed in European Union to be re-exported, and this is what is called inward processing. In the production of egg products, we can produce basically 3 types of products, which are liquid, egg products in powder, or egg products in crystal. And we can produce whole egg, which is based on the mixture of the egg white and yolk, or only yolk, or only egg white, albumin, and extract the lysozyme. Those products, egg products, can be packed in different sizes depending on the customer needs. So we have large quantities which are delivered in bulk, or we have containers and bagging box between 10 and 1,000 kilos, or small packs between 1 and 10 kilos, which are the ones that eventually you can find even in supermarkets. Shells are utilized as fertilizers or as an ingredient in animal feed, or in porcelain production, with hoping that your project will be successful. The market for egg products is very large market. So in Europe, Europe is mainly oriented to yolk products or whole egg, while white is exported mainly in Japan to be utilized in sushi. The applications for those egg products are several applications, ranging between pasta, mayonnaise, bakery products, vegetarian products, and in non-human can be animal feed. And well, I think this is almost all. I don't know if you have any question.
I think that there is not any question now. Thank you so much, Filippo, for your clear introduction to the egg processing sector in Europe. And yes, I take the point that you are wishing to see, in our case, wall tiles made with Excel. I can send you, I will ask later for your address to send some wall tiles made with Excel waste in Spain.
Great.
Thank you so much for your speech.
Thank you for your time. Have a nice meeting.
Bueno, y para cerrar este broche sobre el sector.
Well, just to conclude with this egg producing sector, we have the presentation from Jorge Galarza from Ingeniería Avícola, and also these they will talk about these sandwich products and the sustainability of the egg product. Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation, and congratulations for having celebrated this project and having concluded this project, and congratulations to all the companies that are involved in this project regarding sustainability, which is something that has to have an impact on the benefit of the economic benefit in the end. I'm Jorge Galarza from Ingeniería Avícola, which is a company that has devoted itself to farm producing, installations, facilities for egg production, for poultry production, farms, egg products, and revalorization of sandwich products. When I hear about sustainability, I never talked about sustainability, I have always heard about sustainability. I have never discussed about the definition of sustainability. But when you see this concept, this definition, you say, okay, I have always been discussing about sustainability. We have all been discussing about sustainability. How does this work? So what is sustainability? I would say that it's about achieving that your activity, your economic development is working while you don't compromise future developments for future generations. And all these covers three areas: the social area, the economic area, and the environmental area. This is about sustainability. So in any of these sectors, we need to take advantage of the resources, we have to recycle, and we have to valorize everything, and that must cover all industrial processes. In the sector of egg products, we first talk about profiting or just taking advantage of the resources we have. The first one is water, and it is related with how we treat wasted. We will talk about that later. So to take advantage of the water, if there was any excess water, but to take advantage of water in the pasteurization process, in a pasteurization plant, we need to clean the water, we need to push water. In a pasteurization plant has a team which is full of pipes, exchangers, pumps, valves. When we start the process of manufacturing, it's full of water, it has been cleaned, it has been disinfected, and it's full of water. We start producing, and it's not empty, it's full of water, and we push with eggs. When we push with eggs, there's an interface within water and egg. What do we do with that interface? That water product, we're going to extract it from the system, and either we waste it to the sink, or either we recover it for further use. When we reach the part where there's an interface between the egg and the water, there are already some systems that allow us to take advantage of that egg, extract that egg from that mixture with an ultrafiltration, and finally use that egg as a raw material again. When we finish a production process with egg, then we push with water to empty the system, and we have the same problem again. There's a moment when there's an interface between well, as we can see here in this diagram, we could say that there's an interface that we should give value to, and an interface that is good, that we can still use as egg. That water can be recovered, all those waters can be recovered, and they can be used to the cleaning of floors of the factory, for instance. And the final waters, when there's a zip cleaning of the whole process, we have some cleanings with bases, with acids, and rinsing with water. Those rinsing with waters can be recovered and used for the next first rinsing before the zip cleaning. So we need to understand how the machinery works, the use we are doing about the water, and how we can recover it. In theory, that's easy if you have that prior idea in the definition of an industry. Let's say that you create a new factory, and if this is clear for you, it has a cost, of course, but it's something that it's quite easy to implement. The problem is that when it's already existing facility that doesn't have this philosophy, I need to find a way on to redo everything again. But those are important things. First of all, we're going to take advantage of resources, and one of them is water, of course. Everything we throw to the dumpster, the more waste, egg waste we have, the more difficult and the more money it will cost to treat it in a purification plant, in a water purification plant. Energy efficiency. There is more now with the boom of solar energy in all sectors, in all industries, even in all households. We have solar panels to produce electric energy with the sunlight. And within the facility itself, we have energy consumption, either electricity or thermal consumption, either electricity to pump motors or thermal to heat up the facility. We need to cool down also, that also requires energy. And in all those spots where we can recover energy, in that sense, we will be working for sustainability. Pasteurization means that we heat up a product that comes from a room temperature environment. When it's broken, when the egg breaks, it has to be at a room temperature. It has to be stored at 4 degrees, but when it's going to be broken, it needs to be at room temperature around 16 degrees. So there's the white is good, and we don't have many residues within the shell. So we can recover the heat of the egg we have already heated up to preheat the egg that comes from the freezer. The other part is about recycling. We all know that the wood, cardboard, plastic, everything can be recycled, and we are not going to throw it away. The valorization, the regulation about sandage products is about these 2 royal decrees and those 2 European regulations, 1069 and 142, these European regulations, and then there's a royal decree that takes these regulations to the Spanish regulation, which is the 1528. The subproducts are divided into 3 categories, 1, 2, and 3. The category 3 is the one that we usually have when that product has had no problem in terms of infections or significant issues. That's the one, and especially in the shell, that's normally the one we have. Here we have that when we talk about category 3 matters, among others, we have the subproducts of incubators, eggs, and egg subproducts or byproducts, including the shells, including the one-day chicks sacrificed or cooled because of commercial purposes. Just to summarize the regulation, considering the use that we can have, first we have to pay attention to the Spanish regulation, which is the 1528, which says that there are some specific things for the eggshell, but in the prior part of the article, it talks about all the uses that the European regulation allows, and apart from that, we have all these. So it adds more to the European regulation. It's mainly for feed for or fodder for animals and other uses set by the authorities, and that allows the Spanish authorities to give other uses, the ones that we can have here, and all that regulation is articulated within these articles within the article 142. As raw material for animal consumption, it has to comply with some conditions, some criteria. I don't know if you can see them here on the screen about salmonellosis and enterobacteria. And then the European regulation says that it has to be heated or treated with heat, included within the regulation itself. Apart from that, if we use it as fresh egg, let's say, intended for animals, we should treat it as the liquid egg product, because we need to keep the frozen chain all the time, so which is a bit more complicated. Byproduct treating system or methods that are defined by the regulation, we have up to 7, and there are other methods that are alkaline hydrolysis and other treatings that we can implement. This is a process to valorize the egg and the shell. If we work with liquid egg in an egg product plant, normally there's no residue, it's a very small amount and it's not significant, so we don't even treat that part. But for instance, in an incubator, there's a lot of eggs that are not safe for human consumption. In an incubator, there are many eggs that are not fertile, many around 10% that goes to incubators are not fertile, and all those eggs at the moment are extracted from the process and they could be treated. At the moment, we patented a solution to coagulate that egg, give it a thermal treating, and obtaining a egg flour for feeder. Without the coagulation, we can treat the shell and have other uses for it. Here we have this piece of equipment. It's a drying system with a packaging system. Here we would have a shell. In the process of an incubator, the shell comes out in a very specific moment, while in an egg production plant comes all the time, and it's easier to work with it because we don't need a teapot to store it. That means that simplifies the functioning. This is an equipment just to treat the shells that has been implemented in Mallorca. The shell, this is the final product after the treating. There's no bacteria, there's no salmonella, and it's completely stable. That means that you can store it and you can handle it in a simple way without flies, without smells, so cleaner and safer. It has its CIP system. This is the system, how it is treating in this case it's egg. It's not shell, but in the case of shell it would be the same. This is an indirect drying that improves sustainability because at the level of energy it is more profitable, and the results of the shell in terms of salmonella and enterobacteria, and the results of the egg powder with its compositions. That's it. Thank you very much. And as Englishman people, I'm on time.
Bueno, pues muchísimas gracias, Jorge.
Thank you very much, Jorge. Afterwards, maybe we can discuss about it, but when he told me what they were working on, I saw that it was a complementary solution to the one that we have implemented in Life Excellence. And for many countries where there are thermal treating solutions needed, this area or this solution could be ideal to perform the thermal treating that is mandatory in some projects. Just to clarify, in Spain it's not mandatory. It has to be confirmed by the relevant authorities, but I don't want to take longer on that because I will talk about that later in the presentation of the project. But for other countries, this could be very interesting. So, just as with a British punctuality, we will have the coffee break right now, and we will be back in half an hour at 12:30. Thank you very much.
Sí. Bueno, pues te presento. Sí, no, ya está. Vale. Bueno, pues retomamos la jornada. Toda la primera.
So the first part was dedicated to the egg producers sector, and now this part is going to be dedicated to the ceramic sector, another solution that we explored in other projects. So first of all, we are going to have the first presentation of the ceramic sector with Juan Vicente Bonar, president of the Association of Industry Ceramic Researchers. Good afternoon or good morning.
Uno salda. Pues nada, como os he comentado antes, nosotros estamos concentrados en
So we are focused in, we are centered in Castellón. It's 30-40 square kilometers, and we have a ceramic cluster. It's very similar to the one in Italy. Machinery products, enamel products, and ceramics products. So our cluster, well, basically you see Spain, you see the Valencian community, and this tiny triangle in Castellón. Many people know us now because they are football fans. We have the Villarreal Club de Football, which is world known. Well, this year is not very nice to us, but people know our football team. We have two headquarters. One it's where we were born and where we started, which is in the University Jaume I of Castellón. And a big building that it's a bit crowded now. That's why we built a second headquarters. And here you can see the different towns that have any relation with ceramics, enamels, or machineries. We have a very important one in Alcora, Onda, Villarreal, Castellón too. But bit by bit, due to needs of the territory, you know that Castellón is a very tiny province. We are just a few of us. There's not many inhabitants, around 600,000 inhabitants in the province. We are the second province with more mountains in Spain, so the landscape it's a bit harsh and tight. So in this triangle we see the ceramic cluster. You will see the numbers later. The people that come to meet us are shocked by the productive and technical capabilities that we have. In Castellón and in Almanzora, we have the two headquarters where we deliver services to all of our customers. The interesting thing from our institutes compared to other technological institutes is most of the money that comes, it's invested in Castellón, in the Valencian community, because we are concentrated there. We do projects like this for foreigner countries, but this it's always coming back. It's a good return for our economy. So as I mentioned, the cluster it's mainly conformed by three associations. The ones that do floor tiles, ceramic floor tiles. So ceramics is a difficult issue for us. It's a trendy product, but it's basically lasts forever. But people would change it every single year because when you go to international shows, for example, I mean, if you want to change and to redo your home, don't come to this international shows. Better for you to not go. So this cluster of enterprises is the floor tiles, ceramic floor tiles. Then we have some other groups, auxiliary groups of companies that manufacture for this sector, which are the ones that fabricate enamels, ceramic colorings, and frits. And you also have the producers of machinery, technologies, and common goods for and equipments for the industries that manufacture the ceramics and the tiles. As you see, the tile company, it's around 119 companies. Many of them are governed by investment funds, great groups, and the trend, it's a long term, is to reduce the number of companies, but with a bigger dimension. We have employed around 17,000 people, and when it comes to sales and revenue, it's around 5.5 million euro with a exports of nearly an 80%. We're talking about 4.2 million to 190 countries. It's the second sector that generates the most important richness in the community, Valencian community. The second one, it's the enamel and frit. It's less companies, but the companies are bigger. They have in payroll vendors around 4,000, a payroll which is quite important, and revenue around 1.8 million. And these companies are multinational. They are global leaders. They have headquarters everywhere in Egypt, Mexico, Brazil, India, China, and they are the ones that have the technology and the know-how of the design and everything. So from our technological institute, we have helped them in every moment we could. And some of these companies came from our institute. So this is our input to this sector. And then the machinery sector. I come from this sector. I've been president of machinery and ceramics sector for 16 years, and now I'm the president of this institute. Such is life. So we're 49 companies, nearly 1,800 direct payroll vendors. The invoicing is a bit more moderated, and the exports are also smaller because we have this workload in Castellón where we have our companies. We're exporting more, we are diversifying more to other sectors, not only to ceramics. And the competitive advantage, we are a couple companies and we are global leaders in inkjet technology. An entrepreneur, which is also our friend, wondered, for example, why we couldn't use these printers, inkjet printers, only for paper, for example. They could not be used, for example, for tiles. So this has basically democratized the industry, because now you just put into the printer whatever you want, and every tile can be different when it comes to color, design. You can see this tile here, which is done with inkjet printer. This democratization has made the world change in a radical way, because before our companies of tile producers were leaders, but now with this inkjet, any producer can buy the machine and can do the quantity and quality of pieces they want. So they have democratized the sector, and this technology is present everywhere now. We are the leaders in this moment. So this makes our sector to have nearly 200 companies, 23 direct employments, job positions. These are the directs. And when it comes to the indirect ones, for example, in auxiliary services, transport, it's more than 100,000. And if you see the revenue, the experts, and the most important thing, in our industry, we see 30% of the GDP of Castellón. So they always say that Europe is punishing us. The ideal thing is that the GDP of Europe is over the 20%. Well, Spain, our government says we're close to an 18. That's not true. It's a 12. But if you add the side of energy, would be nearly 18. But energy could only be considered industry, not marketing and trade. So we are far from that 20% of industrial GDP. But in Castellón, we are far over it. So our industrial model, it's an excellency model. Everybody, when they come to see us from other autonomous community, set us as the role model. We have had some rough times in the past because after the COVID, our companies, they did not stop. They were still strategic element. We continued growing, but our sector, the problem it encounters is that we are a very energy related sector. We need gas, thermal gas, with thermal energy, electric energy. So for us, heat, it's done by natural gas. The costs pre-COVID were between from 5 to 15 euro megawatts. With this increase of industrial prices of the energy, gas was paid at 250 euro megawatts. So when we more produced, more it was lost. It was stabilized between 150, 200, and now we have to be happy because the natural gas has gone back to quite reasonable numbers. I think it's around 26 euro megawatt. This is giving us some fresh air to be able to work. We are also facing some threats, as you know. We are all very green, very ecologists. And we have the European Green Deal, which is the great agreement that we want to comply with. We have to do our homework. The 2030, we want to have a 50% decarbonized, and the 2050, no CO2 at all. We are specialists in raw materials, great consumers of water, but we reuse the water we use, the natural gas, the waste that we reuse and we profit from. We have some water vapor that's from the atomized side, the CO2 that we launch to the atmosphere, because we are very CO2 intensive. We will see if we can change that. We see here the square meters in Italy. We have overcome the Italians. We are leaders in technology already, maybe a bit far from what China can do, but as Europeans, it's fine. And here you can see the numbers of the industrial GDP. We represent the 20% of the GDP, which is quite high, and more than a 23, because in the year 2023, maybe it had dropped a little bit. We have some different associations, schools of engineers, the University Jaume I, all of these institutions is that the ceramic cluster that has, it has no comparison at all. I invite you to come and visit it so that to see that our sector is going to continue. We have different threats, the energy, the globalized world, the threats of emerging countries that do not comply with the rules that we comply with. For example, Algeria, we cannot sell there due to political elements. We have been suffering many of this. Artificial intelligence, circular economy, to search for other raw materials. Sorry, I did rush, but
Muchísimas gracias por dar.
Thank you very much for this vision of the ceramic cluster and for respecting the time. I think the ones that follow us, you've seen a vision of the numbers and what it means. And now it's time for the Time Excellence project. So, as I've been trying to cut your time, I'm going to try to respect the time too. Because I'm relaxed also because you will have the reports where you will see all of the reports in the project. So I'm just going to give you some hints on why this project, and why did we achieve all of the things we achieved. So, as I said before, we are going to see the results of the Life Excellence projects. So, the situation that we found when we started the project, all of this started with a patent of the University of Aveiro, partners of the project, in which there was already the study of the use of eggshell in ceramic wall tiles, and then we realized the problem in Europe related to the eggshells. Here you can see the numbers of the shells that are generated, and I've seen that it's even more than the one that we had estimated. This was what we had estimated at the beginning. In Europe, more than 150,000 tons. In Spain, more than 16. But well, after what you mentioned at the beginning, it's even more. And with transport and freight costs and management costs, that in Spain it's between 25 and even 200 euro per ton of managing the waste. So this encouraged us, and also the idea that in Portugal they are also finding this as a problem. So this encouraged us to request for this project, and thanks to the financing of the European Commission, we were able to carry out this. So it's to try to give a solution of the egg producer companies, not a very high added value solutions, but if at least they can stop seeing this as a cost due to the problematic of waste management, then this is our main goal and we will be happy to achieve it. Here you can see an image of this container. It's a very famous image. This is a container that is filled basically every single day, and it is a problem due to the smell and also the problem of managing all of this waste. So here's when we started the project. We were seeking a solution. We had the patent of the University of Aveiro, and it's not very well seen. When we see this is the image of a fragment of the shell. This is an image of the section. You can see the shell, some columns of calcium carbonate, and a membrane which is sticked to the surface, which is the dark side. This is the chemical composition, organic composition of the mineral structure. As I mentioned before, it's calcium carbonate and phosphate too. And here you can see the surface, the part of the membrane. As we mentioned before, it's collagen fibers and other proteins that, as we will see later, can have different applications in other sectors.
Pues bueno, la solución que hemos planteado en el proyecto Life Excellence es valorizar.
So the solution for the EGGSHELLENCE project is to enhance the use of shells for the manufacturing of ceramic tiles. And why does this make sense? And that's why in the presentation in the Ceramic Institute we put some numbers, because the ceramic producers consume so much calcium carbonate that they can cover basically in Spain and in Europe all of the shells wasted in Europe, Portugal, and basically in the whole Europe. Only in Castellón they are consuming 150,000 tons of carbonate calcic, and even more in Portugal. So everything that it's being generated in Europe can be absorbed just with the ceramic sector in Castellón and Portugal. So the Life Excellence project wants to use this symbiosis and to have a circular economy with the egg producers and ceramic producers, to try to avoid that maybe in a year we are able to enhance this, and we're able to retrieve or to use more than 10,000 tons of shell, and that we can have more companies in the future. And this way we are contributing to many of the SDGs of the UN. So, up to now, the why. And to bet on the solutions, to have this shell waste that could be used in the manufacturing of ceramic tiles. That's why we basically came with the idea of the EGGSHELLENCE project. Here you can see the partners of the project. They're all here. We still have a month to go for this project, as I mentioned before. And apart from ITC, we have the Euroatomizado group, which is the ceramic manufacturer company leader in Castellón and end user of the shell in this project. The Moda project in Portugal, leader in ceramic compositions, and also consumer of shells and calcium carbonates. The Universidad de Aveiro, as I mentioned before, and Mainzer. Without them, the project would not exist, because they built the machine, and also Agotzaina, because they have tried the machine, they have given us the carbonate for all of the tests, and now they have the problem to find solutions for this biocarbonate.
Y bueno, pues, ¿qué hemos hecho? Pues para el sector cerámico la membrana es un problema, aunque...
So, for this sector, the membrane is a problem. So, for ceramics, everything that is organic is a problem. So, the first thing we needed is to build something that allowed us to separate the membrane from the shell. This is a scheme of the prototype that, after a year of different tests in lab and different pilot tests to define how we were going to carry this out, we defined this machine that separates the membrane from the shell, as you can see in the image. Here you have an image again of an electronic microscope of the different fragments coming out from this process of the machine of Agotzaina, and the same one after leaving the machine. So basically the adhered membrane, it's nearly non-existent. And here you have an image, so you can see the real size of the machine during a monitoring visit. This machine was already built to be able to process the quantity that it is generated of 10 tons per year, which is the container that we saw a few slides ago. A short video on how the machine works.
Por la parte superior se recibe la cáscara.
So in the top part we receive the shell, there's a dosing element, then we classify it, we separate the membrane from the shell. and then the shell, it's going back to grind to make it smaller. And once the team was evaluated, we saw it was working, it was separating the membrane from the shell. On the membrane, we still have some little bits of shell, but the most important in the project is that all of the shell that's coming from this weight is not with membrane. And as you understand, between the machine and the industrial test, there's been many lab tests in Castellón, in Portugal, pilot tests, and finally 4,000 square meters of tiles afterwards. This is an example. We were able to produce bigger pieces of ceramics, including this calcium carbonate being substituted by the mineral carbonates and through a different process. So basically we did a grinding, we did an atomization, we dried the granule suspension to be able to have the base for the tile, drying, and applying enamel process that allowed us to have such nice pieces like this one. And finally, the decoration and the firing. So this is one of the tiles. It's 30 plus 90. It's not one of the biggest, but it's a representative number. It's been processed without doing any modification along the cycle of manufacturing. That means we didn't have to modify any variable of the process. And between one tests and the others, between Spain and Portugal, all of the compositions had nearly between 5 or 7% of biocarbonates. So, environmental benefits of this. They have also been quantified in this project. Not to dig much deeper, but I want to say that from all of the standpoints, this solution, it's environmentally friendly. So compared to the today's situation of the use of calcium carbonate and the waste of shells in dumpsters, this solution gives us many advantages from every single standpoint. And which is more important for me, this last conclusion, is that even moving this 600 kilometers away, it is still a solution that does not damage the environment. So for me, that's very important, because we were worried if the solution was going to be worse than the actual project or the actual solutions. So that's why we quantified all of these numbers. All of these presentations, you are going to have them. We will going to send them. The ones that are here in person or online, we're going to send them all of you. So it's not necessary for you to take pictures or write down any idea. I mean, you're going to have this at home, but just in case. Even if it makes sense to move this to Castellón or to Portugal from anywhere, in the project we also had the support from the Association of Producers of Clay, and we have used also companies with roof tiles, wall tiles in Portugal and in Spain, bricks, and we have identified also companies of byproducts. So basically any company which is interested, we can explore solutions tailored for them if they are seeking another solution, for example, even in the different islands. And well, briefly, we have identified the legal requirements in Europe, but as Jorge explained, it's not necessary to dig deeper on this, but the requirements in Portugal and in Spain are here. So at the end, basically, is to have all of this written down. For the companies that are going to deliver the shell and the ceramic industries, they have to comply with this and they have to fill in all of these documents, but the use is allowed. In Portugal, I want to explain here what I mentioned before. In Portugal, it is necessary for this specific use, the use in ceramics, which is not for the food industry, that does not need 70 degrees. In Portugal, they do need the 70 degrees. So the solution of the poultry industry could be good for this, for Portugal. So in Spain, when I say we don't need the 70-degree temperature, it's anything that it's not related to animal feed or human feeding. Well, I also respected my time. I'm going backwards, actually. So, in a fast way, summarized way, I wanted to mention a little bit the project. Later, we will have a video of the project. And thank you for the financing program of the European Union for financing this project, which in a nutshell, it's about to finish.
Y doy paso a la siguiente.
I give the floor to the next speaker, which is another party of another partner of our association, let's say, which also works with this kind of byproducts, which is the Francisca Aran, coordinator of R&D in the Technical Center of Footwear in SCOP in Spanish, which is a great addition to this to this day. First of all, thank you for the invitation for this magnificent event and giving us the opportunity of telling one of the projects we are developing at the moment in collaboration with the ITC. The Global project is, let's say, a brother project with EGGSHELLENCE project. For those of you who don't know us, INESCOP is one of the technological centers in the community of Valencia, one of the oldest one, even at a national level, and we are focused on the footwear sector and its whole value chain, including raw materials, components, shoemakers, waste managers, etc. As you can guess, our mission is to support our sector, of course, and to generate knowledge and services that help them to face the challenges that they face at every given time. And as many other sectors, at the moment, it's about the transition, the green transition and digital transition to reach the climate goals imposed by Europe for 2050. And one of the objectives to reach that decarbonization is the use of raw materials that come from renewable sources. And this is one of the connection points with the egg waste. How is the project of Oval born? One of the important actions within the LIFE project is networking. That's clear. And like about 2021, in 2021, Paki and myself found ourselves in a networking event organized by the Network of Technological Institute of the Community of Valencia for the presentation of the summoning of that year to present the ongoing projects. Paki presented the Live Excellence project, and she said that one of the byproducts left from the process they made was precisely that membrane, that protein membrane. And I was presenting the Live project of my Proval, which intends to recover the proteins with high value from different animal byproducts, either category 2, and category 3. Soon there was a crash between us, we defined the synergies between both projects, and from there we got the Ovoval project, which intends to give value to the broken eggs waste. It's a regional project led by Inescop, where we also have ITC participating, and we also have the Valencian Poultry Association. With them, we saw that the industry's waste was significant, but also broken eggs produced during that classification process, as we mentioned this morning, was a significant waste for farms, and for that the project just focused on this kind of waste. Then we also had the collaboration among the partners of La Unió, which is the Valencian Association of Farmers and Livestockers that are in charge of validating one of the projects that were developed under this project. So Ovoval project, from a holistic approach, tries to give a solution, a complete solution to this waste made up by the broken eggs, and according to the results of Life Excellence project, we're going to give value to the calcium carbonate of the shell in different applications. Oh, it skips forward itself, either in the manufacturing of tiles, as Paki mentioned, but also it can be used as a mineral charge for other materials like plastics or rubber materials that can be used in shoemaking, for instance, in soles. Then we are going to give value to the protein part through different applications where we can perform protein hydrolyzations that can be used either in the tanning industry and the bio-based stimulant part. In terms of recovering proteins, and according to results from the Life by Proval, this recovery or retrieval can be done through a enzymatic hydrolysis that allows us to recover the protein, and in different degrees of protein hydrolyzation, depending on the process, we can obtain a wide range of products that can adapt or can suit the needs of the applications that we are considering at every given moment. In a nutshell, the considerations that we have considered within the Proval project, we have calcium carbonate that can be used as a reinforcing burden or filling burden in materials used in soles of shoes, even rubbers, vulcanized or thermoplastic, PVC, or it can be used either to produce paints, adhesives, etc., and delivering very good results. In the case of the protein part, one of the applications that has been validated or under evaluation, let's say, is the use of these biopolymers, protein biopolymers, as retanning agents in the industry of the tanning industry. This retanning agent has the role of filling gaps within the leather and to improve the properties and mechanical properties and aesthetical properties of leather. And as you can see, the biopolymers obtained by broken eggs offer good results in terms of improvement of mechanical properties of the leathering, and can be compared to the ones we have now that have a synthetic origins. The benefits of this kind of products, we can say that one of the main environmental benefits is that it allows us to reduce the environmental impact of the tanning up to 3 times, which is a significant reduction. Another application that is under study right now is the use of this protein hydrolyzed as biostimulant based on free amino acids, which is quite interesting at the level of Europe as an alternative to replace fertilizers from mineral origin which contain which have a high environmental impact. Just very briefly, you can see the figures that the use of this kind of biostimulant can improve up to 35% the germination of seeds in Petri plates. In this case, they were lettuce seeds or seedlings. And now we are conducting the trials on the field with cultures of coleslaw. And as we can see, the use of these biostimulants has increased up to 30% the leaves of these plants, the term defined by this refraction index. Another effects on the plant will be assessed as time goes by. And that's it. As a summary, we can say that the Ovoval project, or the valorization of this kind of waste, can contribute to complete enhance or exploit of this kind of waste, improving also circular economy in our region, our territory, as well as at an European level. And all this is based on industrial symbiosis, in our case, between strategic sectors in the community of Valencia, as the primary sector, that is farming, the ceramic sector, and the sugar sector. And that's it. Thank you for your time and for your attention.
Muchísimas gracias, Paqui, por esta.
Thank you, Paqui, for this presentation. I think it's the greatest closing for this day, because you are always asking, what about the membrane? Well, you can hear now all the solutions that we are studying for the membrane, apart from the ones that you already mentioned in the previous presentations. I think that among all of us, we can find a circular solution to all the waste that is being generated by the egg producing sectors. We have a video, the video of the prey, which is, it's not completely done, but you can show, let's say, a trailer. It just have a couple of minor tweaks to do, but we'll play the video and then we will summarize what we have been discussing during the day, just to wrap up.
La amenaza de un cambio climático es un hecho fáctico al que hay que hacer frente con urgencia. Para luchar contra este fenómeno se requiere un esfuerzo colectivo y la adopción de prácticas sostenibles en todos los aspectos de nuestras vidas, desde cómo vivimos hasta cómo hacemos negocios. El proyecto Life Excellence, financiado por la Comisión Europea a través del programa LIFE, promueve la sostenibilidad y la conservación del medio ambiente. Es una iniciativa innovadora que pretende reducir la huella de carbono.
Wants to reduce the carbon dioxide and to enhance the circular economy between two important industries like the food industry and ceramic industries, especially the one dedicated to producing eggs and managing eggs. So how do we get this industrial symbiosis? We estimate that the transforming industries of eggs in Europe generates per year 150,000 tons of eggshell. It's a waste that usually ends up in dumpsters. Through this project, we have achieved to reuse and enhance the waste of eggshell to be able to incorporate the calcium carbonate, the main component of the shell, to different ceramic compositions and not to have to extract them from nature. This way, we are able to withdraw waste that are going to be seized by the ceramic industry to do tiles. So we put into value a waste that allows us to create new products. We see how this project that has been developing for 5 years already, with the coordination with the ITC and the participation of the University of Aveiro and also companies from the ceramic sector and food sector, achieves to enhance the circular economy, allowing the industrial symbiosis with two different sectors like the ones of ceramics and the transforming egg product industries. To achieve the success of the project, it's been key to produce this machine developed by the machinery company Mainzer, which is able to separate the membrane from the eggshell so that the bicarbonate that we get from this has a low content of organic components. This has been possible and it's already working in Agotzaina company, where we get the calcium carbonates dedicated to the ceramic manufacturing industries. This machine has two systems, one of grinding to be able to separate the membrane from the shell, and another one that filters to separate both elements. The EGGSHELLENCE project, it's a very important step forwards a more sustainable future, demonstrating that the circular economy can be implemented in practice and generates benefits for the environment and for the companies participating on it.
Bueno, pues yo creo que es un buen cierre de la...
I think this was a great closing for today. I just wanted to clarify a couple of things from each presentation because I think it has been a very proper sequence to understand the problem that we face. I will keep a phrase from Paula Ceballo about the relevance of circular economy in the European Union. Since from ITC we're trying to boost that circular economy in the ceramic sector. Then from María del Mar, I was surprised how innovative is the egg producing sector in Spain, the amount of solutions that they explore from Europe, and those 16,000 tons that normally should be around 20,000 tons of shells, waste shells in Spain, maybe that's a bit more than we expected. From the egg producing sector in Europe, we could say that it's about 1/3 of eggs that are intended to produce egg products, and according to the estimations that I quickly did, that means 250,000 tons in Europe. And from Jorge's presentation, that being an egg producer means being aware about circular economy, about reusing, recycling, about giving value, and we hope that the Life Excellence project of Oval and many other projects that come afterwards allow us to complement or to add more things to the solutions that we already have in the egg producing sector. Then about after the break from the presentation of San Juan Vicente, just to mention that we don't only have the ceramic support, but also the enamel has also calcium carbonate. So maybe the solution would be interesting for both manufacturing the tiles and the enamels, which, as you can see, is a very important sector in Spain and in that specific region of Spain. And from Oval, that's a perfect solution, the perfect friend for Life Excellence project because it allows to close the circle. Also, I just wanted to show you that apart from the tiles, we have found a solution for the clay sector. These are small bricks using these biocarbonates from the shells. So as I said before, there are closer solutions. We are still thinking that the solution in the ceramic sector will provide an added value, but this solution is completely feasible. These bricks are fired with this calcium carbonate and there has been no problem. I think this is a good summary of the day. I don't know if you have any question or concern. Otherwise, you have our contact details in the presentations. And as I said before, all these presentations will be available for you. And once we correct a couple of details that, like the project lasted 5 years, it was a bit less, but once it's done, we'll send you the final hyperlink to download the file and it will be uploaded to our website. So if there are no more questions, I guess there are no questions at the moment. Thank you very much for your attention, for those of you that are online and those of you who are on site. We have still a month left to conclude the project, so we have time to wrap up everything. Yes, of course, I forgot. The day after tomorrow, we have to come back to Madrid because this project has received already, we have finalists in the Top Insiders Awards in Spain as an innovative project in circular economy. And right now, on Thursday, we're going to the gala of the Global Pact of the European Union because we are finalists in the OS9, which is one of the SDGs. We are finalists, and let's see if we can get the award to Castellón. So those of you who want to join us, I think you still have time to request attendance. Otherwise, we will tell you about it on social media if we get it or not. But that could be the perfect ending for this whole project. So once again, thank you for your time, for your attendance, and for complying with the timetable. And once again, thank you for the European Commission and for the base headquartered in Spain for holding us in this room, and for providing all the media for the online connection and for the follow-up of this day. And of course, thanks to the live program